Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a beautiful day. Today is September 17th, 2018, and this is Molly McCord. This is the Monday show of this podcast where we talk about the energies of the current times, and then we talk about it from a healing perspective. We look at what you can do right now, energetically and otherwise, to work with what is coming up for you, whether you're being triggered, whether you're going through something that's deeper, whether you are just looking to remember the essence of who you are, the vastness, the unlimited potential that you are, and to stay connected with that energy. We cover that in this show, and I am grateful for your connection and presence in this journey. I am grateful that so many people are here on the planet with expanding consciousness. You are here to understand more about the truth of yourself, of energy, of what's happening on this planet, and you're willing to also be strong in who you are, in your light and in your strength. So I hope that this show continues to reconnect you to those parts of you that are always there and always available to you, no matter what comes up during our temporary human experiences. So right now, the sun is in Virgo at 24 degrees. Mercury is in Virgo at 21 degrees. They are conjunct. They are traveling together this week, and they are really activating our minds. They're activating how we can see something in a new way. Mercury is the storyteller, and whenever Mercury syncs up with the sun, Mercury brings new information to our awareness, something that we didn't see before. And because Mercury is just behind the sun, he's coming up behind the sun to say, hey, wait up, I've got something for you. I want you to understand or see or perceive information in a new way. Mercury in Virgo is very specific in the information. It's looking for results, details. It's looking for how we can improve. So this week, you may have that in your mindset. What can I improve? What can I get done? How can I be productive? What kind of work do I need to do right now this week? What kind of improvements do I need to make in my work? This is a problem-solving energy. This is that essence of you maybe been trying to figure something out or put your finger on it. Well, when Mercury reaches that conjunction with the sun, more insights come through. You get an understanding of, aha, I got something now that I didn't have before. And that means that you're going to have new information, new understanding, maybe new specific details even, that come forward and are meant to assist you in your decision making. So this will be an exact conjunction at 26 degrees of Virgo, and it will be exact on Thursday, September 20th. Until then, Mercury will be basically chasing the sun, right behind the sun. Then they're going to continue to travel together through the remaining degrees of Virgo, and they will both enter Libra within 24 hours of each other on September 23rd and continue into the last week of September, and then Mercury is going to speed up and move ahead of the sun. So we have very strong cerebral energies right now throughout the rest of September. We're all thinking. Maybe you want to talk about it. You want to share your ideas. You need to get something out of your head. Again, it's strong problem solving. And then when both planets move into Libra, we want to have conversations with people because Libra is the sign of relating, of having good discussions, of saying, this is what's been in my head, what's been in your head, and also listening. So this is quite a dynamic time. It also can speed up life. When Mercury is conjunct the sun, we have more in our heads. We have more to get done. We can feel that we have more errands to do, more tasks to complete, because there's a increase in how we want to move through daily life. And also pay attention to your body. Pay attention to what your body is telling you, because in Virgo, that is a main messenger, is the physical form and what your body needs. Your body needs good food. It needs to move. It needs exercise. These are just the basics of what your body needs. We are all very we all sit too much these days. I mean, we're all in front of a screen or at a computer. We're sitting in our car. We're sitting on the subway. We're sitting at our desks. We're sitting. But our body is meant to move. Our body is meant to be in motion and to feel energized by that. And it's really important to listen to what your body is telling you right now and to understand that it's giving you information about how to better take care of yourself. And then the Mercury energy supports how you do that. Mercury in Virgo is all about how. How do I solve this? How do I improve this? How do I get that result? How do I change something? It's the hows that come up. And so right now, listen to your body. Listen to what you need. And listen to how you can honor the body's health in a really solid way right now. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be very simple, as, eating more produce or going for a 10-minute walk. These are all important parts of us right now, because as both planets move on to the next signs, we have to take these aspects of ourselves, these new routines forward in order to stay grounded, to stay present, to stay aware of ourselves in physical form. So this is a very important grounding time. And part of that is to look at what types of energy healing or body support practices would be beneficial to you right now, whether it is a quick massage, acupuncture, acupressure, anything that works with touch is supported under Virgo because it is the physical touch that supports the physical body. And there are so many ways you can do that, but just pay attention to what that might be and to listen, again, to what is coming through and what is coming up. Our bodies are very wise. They understand themselves. They understand what they need in order to feel strong and healthy. And when we listen to our bodies, then we're really able to go into that wisdom that we carry. So the energies of right now are quite dynamic. They really are quite active. And we're going to do something really important in this show. And please know that whenever you arrive at this information, that's when it's right for you, because I understand that people find this episode of the podcast later on in time. And so whenever you listen, it's the perfect time for you. And I say that because what we're going to do is activate a deep release of energies that you've been carrying or holding unconsciously. That's because Mars in Aquarius is now at 1 degree of Aquarius and moving direct after being retrograde for 2 months from June 26th to August 27th. And as Mars is moving direct again, he is making a square to Uranus and Taurus and making a conjunction to the South Node in Aquarius. And the South Node is what we're leaving behind. It's what we're growing away from. The North Node is where you're growing towards. Collectively, we are all developing and growing the attributes of Leo, which in general terms include confidence, courage, being seen, being recognized for yourself, for your light, and all of that comes from within. So really owning who you are. When the South Node is in Aquarius, we are leaving behind the soul connections to people, soul groups, soul tribes that are expired and done, that were energies that you did relate to, the people that you have known, the people that you've been connected to, the groups of friends, the athletic teams, the professional networks, Aquarius is about groups, and that can show up in many ways. And so what we're doing at a deeper soul level is we're saying, okay, I've learned as much as I can from that energy dynamic, that experience, that group. And I'm getting the image of an orange that's been squeezed. It's like I've squeezed as much as I can from that orange. I've gotten all the juice I can from that orange, and there's nothing left for me. And so as Mars comes over the south node, it reminds you that it's really time to let go. It's really time to be complete with these. You see, we see it as people because that's typically how it shows up in the physical. But, of course, it's energies. It's that energetic experience you had that you needed to have in order to grow, to understand yourself. We're living in the age of Aquarius where we are meant to work in communities. We're meant to be the oneness energy. We are all connected at a global level. But there are things that we have to let go of in order to keep moving forward into these higher understandings of ourselves. And this is a quicker, we're moving through a quicker ascension period right now. We're moving through that sense of I have to bust through something. And it's been happening all summer and all year. And this energy of Mars conjunct the south node is really strong on Friday. We'll call it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and even Sunday. So that's going to be, the dates are September 20th through 23rd is when Mars will be exactly conjunct the south node. And when Mars is conjunct anything, Mars is a trigger. We get angry. We get pissed off. We have a physical reaction. You could feel it energetically, that uprising in your body from the root chakra. The root chakra gets triggered. The root chakra is about your survival. It holds your fears. It also holds your primal energies, and it relates to reptilian energies that are about the fight or flight, that are about pure survival. I'm only out for myself. I've got to do what I got to do. And so the Mars energy, this is all Mars in the lower form, the unconscious energies. It comes through when we get triggered by someone, by something. It can even be an older expired version of yourself, an old dream, an old ideal, something that you held on to. It can be that sense of, I thought my life was going to go one direction, and it didn't. Or I had an understanding that my life would play out a certain way. Because Aquarius is about the way forward and the future, and we thought the future would look one way, or we thought the future would be one thing. Perhaps when you were younger, you held a certain understanding of, oh, well, I'm going to get married at this age, I'll have my first kid at this age, I'll get my dream job at this age. You know, we have these ideals of how our life is going to go. And that rarely happens, at least in the ways that we plan. And this Mars trigger comes through. And it's asking you to, first of all, listen to the messages that come up, the emotions that come up specifically, to be aware of being triggered, and to understand that this is a time of letting things go. And there's nothing inherently wrong with anger, frustration, anything that you feel impatient, anything where you feel impulsive. It isn't wrong. It's understanding that it's a message of energy. And it's understanding that, how am I going to consciously work with that energy? Well, you perhaps need to go to the gym, or you need to understand how to move it through. Or it's looking at, well, how do you work with uncomfortable feelings? How do you take control of them so they don't take control of you? And Mars going over the south node triggers these unconscious parts of ourselves that are connected to the root chakra, about our fear, our survival, our unconscious needs. And there is this huge desire to just let it all go. I mean, just a giant exhale. And this is not new, because this same energy was really strongly activated at the end of July with the lunar eclipse in Aquarius at 4 degrees, and that was on July 26th, 27th. So Mars is coming through that same part of your chart and helping you release another layer, bringing you another message, helping you understand something you didn't see before, and helping you remove it in a way that supports your body, because Mars is the physical self. Mars is also associated with the masculine energies, the ego mind, and where we've been stuck, especially in Aquarius because it's a fixed sign. So you can see here that there's certain themes that are emerging that we've been working with that are still strong. So if it comes back around or you get triggered or something comes up, you have that ego flare, you have something that you need to let go of, this is a big part of what's happening this week. And what I want to support you with, and this is the deeper stuff that we don't always see or don't always acknowledge is there, is that in other lifetimes, other incarnations, you could have taken certain vows around your survival needs, around that root chakra survival need. And you could have taken certain pledges. You could have pledged to a certain group of people, to a religious group. You could have vowed to stay connected to family members out of survival. You could have pledged to be a part of a certain a sisterhood or a monastery. Again, other lifetime energies. You could have said, I solemnly swear to work on this issue, and you could have made a promise to someone or to something outside of you. And what can happen is that we don't remember those vows or pledges, especially in other reincarnations, and yet we live them out. We still carry them. They're still within your energy. They're still in your soul imprint. And so what we need to do, or rather what you are being given the opportunity to choose to do, is to say that you no longer need to honor or carry those vows, pledges, promises, or allegiance to other people, places, energies, or entities that are no longer for your best and highest good in this current energy. And you can phrase it however it feels right to you. I do recommend speaking this out loud because it has power when you voice it. It comes through your throat chakra, and you speak it, and it gains power. You hear yourself. It's actually good for you to hear yourself make these declarations. And what you're doing is you are energetically closing, canceling, and completing what is no longer in your best and highest good. And when you do this, I am not kidding you, it is powerful stuff, because people leave, things change in your life, you find that you can't show up at the same job anymore, and that could have been that you had made a vow to this group of people in another lifetime to always work with them, to solve them out of your own survival. Chances are that these energies that you are actively completing with your free will were made at a time out of desperation, out of survival, out of fear of rejection or abandonment. You made the pledge to someone else, be it family, be it neighbors, be it a community, because you believed you needed them to survive, to be protected, to really live. It really is that level. And right now is really the time to consciously say, these are complete. This vow is complete. This pledge is complete. I am done with this contract, the soul contract. I am done with the allegiance I made to anyone that is not within my current energies. And this is where, this is an exercise in higher consciousness, because on this planet, we experience time as linear, and we see things physically. That's part of the experience here. But that's not true in other realms, other dimensions, other places. And so we come to believe that what we see is the only thing that's real. And then as you expand your consciousness and you understand how everything is energy, that shifts. And it shifts by opening up your spiritual gifts. It shifts by making you more intuitive. Your third eye opens, your clairs open, you become more claircognizant, more clairsentient, clairaudient. You open up to even more about the energies that are speaking to you, the energies that you feel. And as you do this, then you start to understand the patterns and the people who keep showing up, and why am I in the same lesson, and is this karma? And it can be, there's many ways, many possibilities why things keep showing up. But what you can do is understand that there could have been a time that you made a vow to certain people or a pledge. And when your energy has shifted in a way where you're no longer relying on them for survival or out of fear mindset, then you can close it out. It's like closing out a file. All right, put a stamp on that one, closed out. Let's put it back in the cabinet and shut the door. Closed. That file is closed. And you can, this is important to understand within yourself what the themes might be, what the patterns might be, the emotions, the feelings, the lesson. And it depends where you're at with the lesson, because you could close out a lesson with, say, your sister. If your sister's been really difficult in your life, or choose anybody. If someone's been really difficult and they always are challenging your power, or challenging your sense of self, you actually rise up through that lesson when you've learned it, when you've learned to be stronger in your sense of power, when you learn to stand up for yourself, when you learn to say and speak your mind with no attachment to their choices or to what they say in response. When your energy has risen to the point that you are strong enough within yourself, then not only is that soul lesson clearer for you of why you chose this sister, but then you can also release yourself from the pledge you took to continually learn this lesson with her. And that pledge could have been in another lifetime when, like I'm getting the image right now of two women surviving in a forest, and they really needed each other to hunt and to forage and to find the right foods, and they were so afraid of being alone or abandoned that they were like, let's just promise to stick together for survival, and like a pinky swear or something. But energetically, that promise to stick together to survive is what then creates the ongoing energy dynamic. This is interesting how this is coming up for Venus retrograde, right? So looking at those vows and promises, pledges, and allegiances you took with other women could be especially strong during Venus retrograde. But right now I'm feeling it as the energies that we agreed to as Mars goes over the South Node. And this energy squares Uranus, which we've been talking about for the past few months, and that is a breakthrough. And the breakthrough is because of the Uranus in Taurus energy of self-reliance and self-worth, and the earthquake of that, like that shaking it up of, I don't need you, I'm good. I can forage for my own nuts. It turns out I'm amazing at being able to do what I need to do to take care of myself. So you reach these higher levels of self-sufficiency and personal capability that you didn't acknowledge before or see before. And I feel like this is important to do. So what you can do is simply ask, like get quiet within, and ask yourself, ask Spirit, God, Creator, your spiritual team, your angels, whom do I need to release myself from for the best and highest good of everyone involved? And trust who comes to mind, whether you hear it, see them, feel it, trust who comes to mind. And it's funny because as I say this, I get the image of maybe you see one person who comes forward and it's a male, and then you move and you look behind them and you see there's like this long line of people that are all energetically connected to him. Well, maybe that means this person represents all the different people you've dated or husbands you've had in a lifetime, or your father or a brother. And it's the masculine energies that you've experienced, and it's been like the merry-go-round of the same lesson, different face, right? Same lesson, just a different face. And you're releasing yourself of being energetically connected to that version of masculine energy. This is important for all of us to do. It could come up, there's so many ways this can come up for you, but it is time to close out vows, pledges, allegiances, anything you made out of survival, out of fear, out of unhealthy root chakra. This is the time. You're ready. You probably feel it. Maybe you've done this already. Do it again. You know, it could be something that you work on, and you just keep having all these people come up. But we carry these vows. We carry them, and we think that we're stuck, or that why won't this person go away, or why won't the energy change? Well, you change it within yourself. I'm hearing divorce. For those of you who are going through a divorce, you change it within yourself, but you change it, here's the other part of it. You also make sure to recognize what you learned, how you grew, how you healed, and that is how you find the gratitude. And that gratitude can be just to yourself. It doesn't always have to be for the other person, but it's meant to be something that you feel. It's a recognition of yourself, how you've grown because of the experience. So this message for you came through last night when the moon was moving through the last 5 degrees of Sagittarius. And when it does that, it triggers the galactic center. And the galactic center is where our galaxy connects with other galaxies. It's a very poignant energy point. It's very strong, and it's where we open up to more cosmic wisdom and cosmic understanding of how we're all energetically connected, that we are much bigger than this planet, than this time and physical reality. And when the moon goes over the galactic center point, we have this quick access to even more messages, intuitive hits, and feelings from other places, other planets, other energy fields. And if you have any planets or points, specifically between about 26 to 29 degrees of the galactic center. The galactic center moves, by the way. And I'm sorry, it's 26 to 29 degrees of Sagittarius, the late degrees of Sagittarius. These are the energies that relate directly to the galactic center. It's great for channeling, intuitive messages, and receiving. You don't only need to have anything at those planets or points, but that's part of the energy signature. My personally, my rising sign is at the galactic center point. And so when that was pointed out to me years ago through an astrology reading, that helped me understand what the channeling was about. Like, what am I channeling? What's coming through? Oh, it's coming through from other places, other realms, which to me feel like home. There's a lot of home energy that I feel at that point. So I want to share that with you so that you can also be aware of that energy and how it feels for you and your journey. But this energy of the moon going over that point is an activation, and that's why this morning I was like, okay, we've got to do this clearing. We've got to clear out what we don't even realize we're holding. But once you clear it out, it allows the new downloads to come in and the new awareness and the new insights. But it has to be through our own initiation and our own activation. Because you are here because you're powerful. And there's this giant game that humanity is involved in where you don't think you're powerful, or you look at power in a certain way, or you see it as a certain position or title or somebody in authority. And no, that's not the game. I mean, it's part of the game. It's part of the illusion. But understand that we activate this power within ourselves, within our own energy fields. Everything is energy. In fact, those who know how energy works are actually the most powerful because they understand the dynamics of it all, and that can happen on both sides of the spectrum, meaning it can happen in the darkest energies and the lightest energies. And something I want to also share with you that's important right now is there is a lot of neutrality in spiritual work. Neutrality as in, I'm going to be love, light, and bliss. I'm going to understand some things. I'm going to work on my spiritual growth. I'm going to develop my skills and my abilities. And all of that is amazing, and it's part of the experience. But what I mean by neutrality is that at some point you have to choose a side. And what I mean is that there are light forces and there are dark forces, and if you're in the middle, you're neither. You have to activate what side you're going to go to and not just stay neutral around transformation, around spiritual principles, around how you show up in the world. You have to choose a side because the energies that are darker want you to stay neutral because then you're not really in your power. Whereas when you choose a side, you choose that light activation, you choose to stand up for yourself. You choose to act in integrity. You choose authenticity and honesty. You choose the things that maybe at first you don't think you have courage for, but then you choose them and you work towards them. You choose to step into your power. That's choosing a side, because then you're no longer neutral. You're no longer only in your head. You're really activating more of your energy field to be this bigger version of yourself. And it's important to know that as we move into the next decade, there's really big changes happening. And it's going to require more and more people to be strong in truth, in integrity, in following through with what they say they're going to do, in understanding responsibility. There's a lot on this planet that is not in alignment with those spiritual principles. And those individuals, no matter how high they have risen up, no matter where they are in government or in business, we've seen it happen. We've seen the falling down of structures, of big businesses, of companies that were not in integrity. We're going to need new leaders. And that's what this is. It's a new initiation of energies coming through that we were going to strongly need in the next decade, and many of you have been going through deep work for decades, and you've been moving through the understanding that I know this is for a purpose, but what? Or I know something is going to happen, but when? Well, the timelines change. Things happen in many different ways, but it's certain that the astrological energies are preparing us for a very big shift in the next decade, and it's ongoing. It's not just one and done. It's ongoing. And people are going to be afraid, and they're going to be in fear, and they're going to be like, the sky is falling, and you cannot be neutral. You want to be, but this is going to be like that call to your own light, the going forward, like the understanding of what it's all been about. And this is an understanding that many of you have felt, and just understand that part of right now is doing the work, getting stronger, practicing what you know, understanding, putting it into place, and knowing that this is part of why we're here, is to move through these bigger energies that have never been on the planet in this way. And that's why you chose to be here. And I'm so grateful, just on a personal note, I'm so grateful to connect with so many of you through one-on-one sessions, because every time I connect with you, I just think, I'm not worried about humanity. I'm not worried about the planet because all these amazing people are here. I'm not worried. But we have to activate it. But you have to do what's necessary to keep it moving forward. So that's what I mean when you have to choose a side. And I'm getting the image of a library. So we're in a library, and we're reading our books, and we're studying, and we're gathering knowledge, and you got it in your brain, and you've been, you left the library maybe to go to a classroom, or maybe to go out and to activate what you've learned. We have to walk the talk. And that means it's it's not the low path. It's the high path. It's not the easy path either. It's the path that can push you to grow, to push you to be stronger, to push you to have more courage. But that's part of where we get pushed into our hearts and into our truth and into that sense of understanding the bigger picture, that we're moving things forward for humanity. And many people are aware of these energies, and that doesn't mean that they're willing to be out there with them. Like they're not, they maybe aren't willing to come out, if you will, come out of the spiritual closet, or come out with what you need, or who you are, what you believe. These are things that are going to be unfolding in the next decade. But what I want to help you with, or at least to strengthen, is that you're not alone. Millions of people are doing this work and are understanding it, and there are millions of bright lights on this planet. And as things begin to change, there's going to be a no going back, which I don't say this out of fear. I say this out of higher consciousness. I say this out of, we're meant to keep changing. We're meant to be evolving. There's things on this planet that just don't work, and they've been covered up, and they've been, people haven't been held accountable for who they really truly are. And that's what's going to come up. And that's where there's going to be the new leadership, the new understanding of what are the new solutions, the new path forward, the new ways to live and to be in community and to be in peace. Wars make a lot of money, right? Going to war makes someone a lot of money. Medicine makes some people a lot of money. Cannabis, marijuana, hemp has been on this planet for so long. It's always been a natural resource that supported healing, but it was shut down because there was no way yet to make money off of it. So it was made illegal, and now, it's coming back up through, at least here in the United States and also in other countries. It's been legalized again because of the new understandings about how it heals, the new ways money can be made off of it. I mean, you can't underestimate how people are motivated by money. But it's always been available to support us. And there's just all these different industries and institutions that have regulated humanity. And as that changes, there's going to be new leaders, new solutions, new opportunities, new. And know that it's important to understand what side you're on, how you show up in the world, how at times it can be really hard to be a black sheep, to be different, to be the one that people don't get or people don't understand. In the long run, it will play out in a way that proves itself, right? Truth proves itself. The truth always rises. The truth always proves itself. And so if you're willing to be in it for the long game, you're going to be fine. Because you're in it with a lot of people who are also in it for the right reasons. So that's why it's important to keep practicing the spiritual principles you've been learning. And that's how you show up in your family, in your workplace, with your children. That's how you show up in the world. If you are someone who votes, although not that the voting system is wonderful, but that will change too. And so how you show up is really what we're being pushed to do, to show up in the world in a different way and understand that it's meant to be something that honors where humanity is growing. Not that any of us have all the answers. I mean, I don't have it all figured out. I mean, if you have it all figured out, that's great. But we figure it out as we go because of all the variables, all the timelines, all the things that can change. But what will play out is how we continue to remain in integrity even when it's really, really hard. Especially in 3D environments. It can be really, really hard where you feel you have to. Sometimes you have to keep your mouth shut, or other times you have to stand up and say something. Both require courage. So please know that this is a time right now of really knowing that you're supported with this energy. You're supported with really standing stronger in yourself, in your strength, in your confidence, and that the people who are really embracing this are really going to keep, it's like this acceleration that keeps going. This you're going to get further along faster because these energies are quickening. It's a quickening of energies, and it's going to keep happening, and it's going to help you really look at what you're choosing and being strong in it. And this relates to what I mentioned earlier in the show, where the vows that you're done with, the pledges, allegiances, promises, all that, people will fall away. Situations will fall away. Things will change. And then something new will come through and come up and come forward. So you're really choosing to be in the light. You're really choosing what it means to be in your own personal energy field without being reliant upon groups or others outside of yourself. Because the greatest strength you have is within yourself. It's within your own energy, within the conscious understanding of your own energy, within the conscious awareness that you don't need anybody else to survive when you are activating more of your own power within you. So understand that that can be a really comforting thing, again, really strengthening. A new level of confidence and courage. That's the North Node in Leo, which will be changing signs in November. And it's really about understanding that you're here to be a part of this, to contribute your energy to what is needed for humanity and what is needed going forward. So our work right now is to end these vows and everything that you're done with, And again, you'll feel it because of the Mars trigger. You'll feel it through anger, through frustration, through impatience, like, oh, I can't deal with these people anymore. That's a message, okay? That's a message. And you don't have to know the full story, even though you might be curious. You really don't. You just have to understand that you want to complete the energy cycle, the energy dynamics, the merry-go-round, and that you want to do so with the best and highest good for everyone involved, which does not make you responsible for anybody else, but it really clears the energy. It like sets you free without the cords or the frayed edges. It's like a clean swipe of, okay, this is complete. Moving on. I'm ready for the next one. Bring it on. So, big energies right now with this Mars moving back into Aquarius, setting off some energies that are complete. And also, as a heads up, I just released a brand new video on YouTube that shows you the Venus retrograde energies, how it's moving in a chart, how Venus makes ongoing connections with Saturn and Uranus over the next 3 months. And you can find that video on YouTube, which I hope helps you see more about what is coming up in your own chart. So I hope you'll join me for the next show on Wednesday, September 19th. We'll talk even more about the astrology of right now as we enter the equinox. And the equinox is the transition between Virgo and Libra. Equinox means equal and equal days. So it means equal light and equal dark, equal day and equal night. And as we move through that, it's a big energy transition, and I'll talk more about that on Wednesday. So thank you so much for joining me, friends. I appreciate you and your guidance, your connection, and how you are present in these energies. I wish you a beautiful day ahead. Thank you so much, and I'll see you back here for the next live show on Wednesday. Take good care. Bye-bye.